All right, Zach, Minnesota, Illinois. This is a big game. Not
It's
necessarily
great.
for like national perspective and stuff like that, but you do have Illinois coming off the loss to Oregon. They're still ranked, but they're looking to prove themselves. And then you have Minnesota, who just came off the huge win against Maryland, kind of showing that they are not just this running team that they've been in the past. They have a very good quarterback who can bring the passing game, looking to get to 8 to 9 wins this season. This is a huge battle for them to do that. Illinois is in luck. It looks like Pat Bryant, Terrence Brooks, Torrey Cox, Caleb Patterson, and Joe Barna all are expected to return. Looks like they've all made it back to practice. And then Tyler Strain, he is most likely going to be back, but he's probably the one that's the most in question right now, according to Brett Bielema. So I think that's good news for Illinois, and I think they're going to need those guys back because this is going to be a tough game for both sides. Zach, what's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, first off, Illinois fans are holding their breath because if I pick against them, it might as well be a win for them. So it's big. This is a big decision for me. In all seriousness, I think I'm really curious to see if Illinois can establish the run because I feel like out of all the things they've been able to do well, that's the one area where I feel like they have really struggled. And I think where Minnesota is actually really strong is that they have a pretty good secondary, right? Justin Walley has been a really good corner for them. Corey Parrish is an epiphany as a freshman, 5 picks. And so it's strength on strength for Illinois with their receivers going up against Minnesota. And it looks like Jason had mentioned that Bryant has not, like he's maybe back at practice, but hasn't passed the concussion protocol yet.
Yeah, the
So
guy I read today said that he was interpreting Brett Bielema's words that he hasn't passed it yet, but he is expected to pass it based on his kind of development. So if that's the words of a writer. That's not straight from the coach, but that was what I got from it. So
yeah. So if Bryant plays, like it's strength on strength. If he doesn't play, they still have Zachary Franklin, but I would give advantage Minnesota at that point. If both Bryant and Franklin play, I think it's maybe more of a push. Maybe slight edge to Illinois. But I'm concerned about their ability to be two-dimensional because I don't know if Illinois can run on this Minnesota team. And I think on the other side, man, what a matchup with Illinois' secondary against this passing attack with Max Brosmer. And I think Brosmer is really ascending. He's really playing well. I think Luke Altmaier had a rough game against Oregon. Everybody's going to have a rough game against Oregon, right? Like Oregon's really good. But I think Altmaier is still one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the conference. And so I think this has the potential to be the best game of the weekend.
yeah, no, I think you're right. Unless Northwestern Purdue has something to say about it.
No, 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 no.
No, I'm just messing with you. Yeah, no, I think this is going to be a great game. I think that Minnesota comes in. They've been really good on third down this season, 17th in the nation in third down conversion percentage, and that holds up for just about every game. That's not, based on like Rhode Island or Nevada or something like that. Like they've been good on third down all season long. That's something that definitely is a tip in the cap to them. And then Illinois, you look at them on third down and what they've allowed, they're the 17th worst in the nation in allowing third down conversions. So that's going to be a big thing for Illinois. Are they going to be able to buckle down and stop Minnesota? Because Minnesota, they have not turned the ball over a ton. They have one turnover in their past 3 games, and that one turnover was against USC. So in their past 2 games, they have 0 turnovers. So for me, I mean, we talk about it all the time, and I try not to be cliche. I try to look a little bit deeper, but there's just sometimes when you have to be cliche and look at it this way. Illinois has got to turn the ball over on Minnesota in order to beat them because I think that they can stop Minnesota at times on third down, but I don't think it's going to be consistent enough just because of the way Minnesota's been able to scheme up their third downs, and I really like what they've been able to do there. It's going to be a tough test for Illinois, But if they are able to get one or two picks in this one and capitalize off those with the offense, that's going to be huge for them. And I mean, we know Illinois can do it, right? They did it against Nebraska in that big game. This game has given me a lot of Nebraska Illinois vibes. Of course, this one is at home for Illinois, and I would not be surprised if we see this one going into overtime like that game did. It's going to be a huge piece there. And then the other thing is that Minnesota's offensive line has been much better lately, and Illinois needs to capitalize on some of their pass rush and what they're able to do and try to fight Minnesota out of that. That's one of the reasons why Brosmer has been, such a good quarterback lately, is because he hasn't had as much pressure on him. Illinois didn't do a very good job of getting to Gabriel, and when Brosmer has time, he can throw that deep ball. So for me, I'm going to be looking a lot at the pass plays and what Minnesota is going to be able to do. I feel pretty confident they're not going to let Darius Taylor just run wild. I think Darius Taylor is going to have a Darius Taylor day, 4 or 5 yards per rush, that kind of stuff. But I think it comes down to the passing game, kind of on both sides, right? Like we talked about with Pat Bryant, Zachary Franklin versus this Minnesota secondary. Both sides, it kind of is going to come down to the passing game, which is weird talking about a PJ Fleck, Brett Bielema game, but I feel like that's the circumstance we're in.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think an X factor in this game is Darius Taylor as a receiver. 34 catches, 257 yards, 2 touchdowns right now. And I think he has been a key target for Brosmer, particularly when things have broken down.
And he's been who he's been able to go to instead of trying to scramble, because Max Brosmer is a statue, right? I mean, he doesn't have the legs to be able to scramble like that. So he's who he's able to go to in those situations. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, and so I think that's the X factor for me. And while like I do really like Illinois, I feel like it probably doesn't because I pick against them all the time. I do like Minnesota in this game to win. And I think it's close. I think if some of those guys weren't playing, I had a larger margin of victory. But because a lot of those guys are coming back, I think it's a defensive game. Like I think both defenses are going to make some plays. I would not be surprised if both Brosmer and Altmaier throw at least one pick, because these secondaries are good. Like there's certainly upper half of the Big Ten secondaries, if not top third of the conference secondaries. And so I like Minnesota in a close one. I got 21-17.
Yeah, I also like Minnesota. I'm sorry, Illinois fans. I think Minnesota in this one because I'm just more confident in Minnesota's secondary getting those turnovers because it's happened more often lately. I know Illinois can do it, and to me, that's the biggest factor. If Illinois comes out and they get 2 or 3 turnovers, not necessarily just interceptions, fumbles, whatever it is, if they do that, that's going to be huge, and that's going to make me completely rethink this prediction. But right now, I'm predicting Minnesota's probably the team that's more likely to get those turnovers. And it's not even because it's Luke Altmaier. I just think Justin Walley in that Minnesota secondary is just that good. And I think Minnesota is going to have a better time stopping the run than Illinois is. Like I said, Darius Taylor's not going to run wild. He's not going to have some crazy 200-yard game or something like that. But he is going to be able to get his. He's going to get 4 to 5 yards per carry, and it's going to be difficult for this Illinois defense, but that is the biggest differentiator. The turnovers, can they make it happen? Can they keep Minnesota from third down by getting turnovers in the game? And like I said, if Illinois gets 2 or 3 turnovers, completely take out my prediction, throw it away. But if Illinois only gets 1 or less turnovers, I think this is Minnesota's game.
Yeah.
Did I say the score? I think
no, you did not.
My score prediction is 27-20.
Okay. Now, I mean, here's the thing, though. I picked against Illinois. So Illinois is going to win.
But I picked against Illinois.
So Illinois is going to lose.
So Illinois is going to lose.
They're going to wooze.
Because I picked against them in the Oregon game and they lost.
That's true. Well, and I did too. So.
Wow. Or Oregon kind of ruins all the superstition, I guess.
Yeah, what the heck, Oregon?
Come on,
Get
Oregon.
out of our conference. No, I'm kidding. We love you.
No, stay, please. we need to defeat the SEC. Stay, please. Yeah, no. I think this is such a great game, and I'm so excited to watch it. What time slot is it? Is it 3:30?
This game is 12 o'clock. It's the same as
this one's at noon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
so
is
unfortunate.
This actually feels like it would have been a good Saturday night game. Although
Yeah.
Wisconsin, Iowa is, I think, a nighttime game. But
yeah, Wisconsin, Iowa, and that one has a little bit more juice just because of the rivalry. But yeah, this is gonna be fun too. Yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch that one on Sunday morning. So I'll because I'll have the Ohio State Penn State one on. But if I want to watch with the sound, which I do like to do because I hear the crowd and everything. Which, by the way, 2020 stunk so much because you could never hear the crowd or anything. That was one of the worst parts of it. So yeah, Illinois fans, feel free to grill me if I'm wrong. Fine by me. Minnesota fans, if I jinxed you, feel free to grill me for that too. Totally fine. Just like and subscribe and comment. So
grill him. Sorry, grill him. Yeah. Grill him. Don't grill me.
Let me know. All right. Let's see. LFG. Is LFG talking about pizzas?
I think it's a.
It's me. Okay. I thought he was talking about min pizzas. I was like, minimum pizzas. He says Minnesota pisses me off because I like the whole Illinois team and their head coach. Don't like the vibe around Illinois right now. It's tough. Illinois, they've dropped their two biggest games of the season right now, and this is going to be a big point for Illinois and what this team is made of, right? If they come out and they win this game against Minnesota, everybody was talking about it in the chat, like, not only is Brett Bielema still undefeated against PJ Fleck, but that just shows the resilience of this team and who they are, that they know, hey, we're not going to win the Big Ten, but we can still have a really good year. We can get 9-10 wins this season, and it can still be a really good year. So a lot of props to Illinois for sure. And then Minnesota, them too, they've had a lot of props this year with what they've been able to do. Losing that first game would have been easy to lie down, but they battled back against USC. And after the Michigan game, right? It would have been easy to lay down after that one. But next week you come out against USC. So, yeah. Big time credit. All right.